Imagine looking out your window and seeing the end of the world, not metaphorically but literally. An army so vast it covers the horizon, a war machine that has crushed every single nation in its path, and now it's parked on your front lawn.
That is a terrifying way to start the morning. But you're talking about Jerusalem under King Hezekiah, aren't you? The Assyrian crisis.
Exactly. We are looking at 2 Kings chapter 19 today, along with a few psalms that paint the emotional backdrop of this moment. It's arguably one of the most tense standoffs in ancient history. You have the Assyrian Empire, the superpower of the day, knocking on the door, and then you have Hezekiah, the king of Judah, who, well, he doesn't exactly grab a sword.
No, he grabs sackcloth. It's such a counterintuitive reaction for a leader. Usually, when you're threatened, you mobilize the troops, you check the supply lines. But Hezekiah tears his clothes and goes straight to the temple. It's almost like a CEO realizing the company is collapsing, and instead of calling an emergency board meeting, he goes into his office and kneels on the floor.
It looks like desperation, doesn't it?
It looks like desperation, but it's actually a radical shift in strategy. Hezekiah realizes this is a problem he cannot solve with human resources. The Assyrian general, Rabshakeh, has sent these letters, basically psychological warfare, saying, "Don't let your God deceive you. We destroyed everyone else's gods. Yours is next."
That part gave me chills. It's supreme arrogance. The Assyrians aren't just attacking a city, they are challenging the very concept of the divine. They're saying, our swords are stronger than your faith.
Which brings us to that incredible scene where Hezekiah takes the threatening letter, goes into the temple, and literally spreads it out before God.
I love that image. It's so tangible. Here, God, read this.
Exactly. He says, "Open your eyes and see. Incline your ear and hear." He acknowledges that yes, the Assyrians have destroyed other nations. He doesn't deny the reality of the danger, but he points out that those other nations worshipped wood and stone. Hezekiah is betting everything on the idea that his God is alive.
And this is where Psalm 135 ties in perfectly. It talks about the idols of the nations. Silver and gold, work of human hands. They have mouths, but speak not, eyes, but see not.
Precisely. It's a contrast of power. The Assyrians trust in what they can see, their chariots, their numbers. Psalm 135 says the Lord does whatever he pleases in heaven and on earth. It's a clash of worldviews, the tangible might of an empire versus the invisible sovereignty of God.
So Isaiah the prophet steps in, and the message he delivers isn't negotiate a peace treaty.
Far from it. Isaiah delivers a roast. I mean, truly. He tells Hezekiah that the virgin daughter of Zion despises the Assyrian king. God basically says, "I know your arrogance, I know your rage, and because of it, I'm going to put a hook in your nose and drag you back the way you came."
A hook in the nose. That is vivid.
It's poetic justice. The Assyrians were known for leading their captives away with hooks. God is saying, "I'm going to treat you like the beast you are." And then, the climax. The battle that never happens.
Right. We expect a siege scene, brave soldiers on the walls, but instead, silence.
One night. That's all it took. The text says the angel of the Lord went out and struck down 185,000 troops. Sennacherib wakes up, sees his army is gone, and just leaves.
It reminds me of Psalm 46. Be still and know that I am God.
Yes, we usually quote that verse during quiet times or meditation, but in context, it's a war song. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the chariots with fire. The command to be still isn't about relaxation. It's about ceasing your frantic striving, because God is fighting the battle for you.
That's a powerful reframing. Being still is an act of trust in the middle of chaos.
And look at the aftermath. Psalm 80 feels like the prayer of the people recovering from this trauma. It talks about Israel as a vine that was brought out of Egypt. It asks God to cause his face to shine so they can be saved. It's the relief of survivors realizing they didn't survive because they were smart or strong, but because the gardener protected the vine.
There's a heavy irony at the end of the story, too. Sennacherib goes home, survives the battle, but then what happens?
He's worshiping in the temple of his own god, Nisroch, and his own sons assassinate him. The man who mocked Hezekiah for trusting in God dies at the feet of his own idol, an idol that, as Psalm 135 said, has eyes but cannot see, and hands that cannot save.
That is profound. The God of Hezekiah defended Jerusalem without a single arrow being shot, while the God of Sennacherib couldn't even stop a murder in his own sanctuary.
It really forces you to ask, what do we put our trust in? Do we trust in the chariots of our modern world? Money, status, political power? Because this story suggests that when the real crisis comes, those things are just wood and stone.
It suggests that true strength looks a lot like humility, like spreading your problems out on the floor and admitting you can't fix them.
Absolutely. The remnant takes root downward and bears fruit upward. Growth comes from that humility.
So, for everyone listening, maybe the takeaway is to look at whatever army is camped on your lawn today, and instead of panicking, try being still.
Because you never know when the morning will come, and you'll find the field empty.
A comforting thought. Thanks for diving into this with us.
My pleasure. If you have been blessed by this, please like, subscribe, and share this joy with others. God bless.